उमज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिन्निति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंदा। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। So continuing the teachings of Lord Kapila to his mother Devahuti, here the yoga ladder is being mentioned. There are various kinds of yoga processes. The processes meant for helping a living entity link with the Supreme Lord. In the beginning of this chapter, we saw the process of meditation on the form of the Supreme Lord, very elaborately mentioned. The yogi fixes his mind upon the various limbs of the transcendental body of the Supreme Lord, starting from his lotus feet, his thighs, his knees, his waist, his chest, his neck, and finally elevating to his lotus face. And then the different ornaments, the different kinds of paraphernalia the Lord holds, meditating on each of these. So this is referred to as yoga. And then bhakti yoga, or actively engaging all the senses in the service of the Lord for the Lord's enjoyment. So both these processes, if it is followed according to the given standard, there is no difference. There is no difference. But in the modern, Srila Prabhupada mentions in the purport that in the name of meditation, people forget the standard process of meditating on the personal form of the Lord, and they start meditating on something impersonal. This is the mistake. If this is done, then the expected result won't be there. The result won't be like the result of the practice of yoga is to purify oneself and go back to Godhead. So this will not happen if a person starts meditating on something void or something impersonal. So the standard yoga process as recommended by Kapila Deva has to be followed. So by following this, what will happen? By continuous meditation, Prabhupada tells here how he I'll read out that portion. Yeah. When by meditation on the Supreme Personality of Godhead in all detail, one comes to the point of love of God. If at all a yogi practices meditation as given here in the Bhagavatam by Lord Kapila, the result is he gradually develops, he comes to the point of love of Godhead. That is the point of bhakti yoga, and at that point he must actually render service to the Lord out of transcendental love. See, this is the result. It's not that meditation on the form of the Lord, even that is incomplete until and unless he reaches the highest perfectional stage of love of Godhead. And then what does he do? He engages himself in devotional service to the Supreme Lord. Till he comes to this stage, his practice of yoga has to be considered as incomplete. When one reaches the highest platform, he renders devotional service. Now, let us take an example. Every year or occasionally we organize, say, some trip to Vrindavan or Mayapur. Dates are fixed and itinerary is ready. Is the trip complete? No. Still we have to make announcement, make registrations, collect fees. Oh, there are a lot of registrations happened, money we have got. Is it done? No. Take that money, go to the railway station or whatever, book tickets if it is available. If it is not available, we may have to change our dates. So a lot of things we work out. Okay, finally all tickets are booked and reserved and confirmed. Is it over? No. Still we have to wait for the day, make all other arrangements, and then on the day board the train. Oh, we have gotten into the train. Is it complete? No. We will endure that journey of 24 hours or 36 hours and finally reach the point. Reach whatever the railway station there, either Mathura or Howrah, we reach there. And is it done? No. Again, yet another 100 kilometers journey still pending. We usually book a bus or go by boat. Again travel and finally reach our destination place, go and participate in the kirtan there, Krishna Katha, Prasadam. Then we consider it as whatever, fulfilled. So in any of these intermediary stages, we stop or we consider that as whatever being done, it is full. No, people won't consider that as complete. It is still incomplete. So likewise, there are various yoga processes, Jnana Yoga, Dhyana Yoga, Hatha Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga. And if we consider different intermediary stages, if we stop there, until and unless we reach the perfectional stage of Bhakti Yoga, developing love of God, rendering practical devotional service, it is said to be incomplete. So this we need to remember. And then here in this verse it is said, Purushaha Purusham Vrajet. The Purusha, living entity, goes to the Supreme Person. So here one Purushaha refers to the living entity. And then another Purusha refers to the Supreme Lord. Purushaha Purusham Vrajet. A living entity, by rendering or involving himself in the yoga process, he attains the Supreme Lord. Purushaha Purusham Vrajet. Now, Srila Prabhupada gives the example of a rich man and a poor man. The capacity of enjoyment or the enjoying capacity of a rich man is not the same compared to that of a poor man. A poor man, he doesn't have sufficient money, he doesn't have sufficient ingredients for enjoyment. His capacity or the quantity of enjoyment may not be the same as that compared to a rich man who may have whatever, a wonderful house, sufficient money, lot of objects for enjoyment with him, sufficient food to eat and whatnot. Now, if the poor man goes to the rich man, approaches the rich man, cooperates with him for his enjoyment, then in this mutual cooperation, both the rich man and the poor man can enjoy equally. Take a familiar case. Some poor man, he goes to the rich man seeking for a job. Usually it happens. Without a job, this poor man is suffering. He doesn't have means to maintain himself. So he goes to a rich man and asks for some employment, being employed under him. The rich man also, he wanted a servant, so he agrees him for probation. 1 or 2 months he keeps him with him and gives him certain tasks to do. And this poor man, all the assigned tasks, very sincerely, faithfully, he performs. The rich man is very happy. Maybe sometimes the rich man tests him also. He may keep some money, cash on the table, and then he may go to take bath, and after he comes back, he'll check whether it's there or not. Then after all of these things, when the rich man is sure, he's comfortable, he is confident with that person, he keeps him with him for a job and pays him whatever he requires. And it may so happen, why you want to go stay outside, my house is so big, so many rooms are there, in one of the rooms you also can stay. The rich man may allow him. Maybe if at all he has a big estate, many houses are there, you can bring your family also and you can stay here, he may allow him. So in this way, by the cooperation between the rich man and the poor man, both can enjoy equally. The rich man is also happy, the poor man is also happy. Likewise, we need to understand there is a Supreme Lord and we are all living entities fallen in this material world. By cooperating with the Supreme Lord, though the Lord's enjoying capacity is much higher, still the living entity also can enjoy in cooperation with the Supreme Lord. Like Fridays we chant the Venkatesha Suprabhata Stotra. There is this verse found in that, Lakshmi Nivasa Niravadya Gunaika Sindho Samsara Sagara Samuttaranaika Seto Vedanta Vedya Nija Vaibhava Bhakta Bhogya. It is said, Sri Venkatachalapate Tava Suprabhatam. It is mentioned there how the Supreme Lord, approaching him, is the only means samsara sagara samuttarana eka seto, the bridge for a living entity to cross over the ocean of nescience. The Lord is the only hope. And then it is mentioned there, Nija Vaibhava Bhakta Bhogya. The Lord is being enjoyed by his devotee. It is very surprising. We have sufficiently heard how the Supreme Lord, he is the enjoyer, he is the Purusha. We are all Prakriti, meant for the enjoyment of the Supreme Lord. Yes, that is there. That's the tattva or the fact. But the devotee, out of his unbounded love, sincere devotional service, what he performs out of sincere love towards the Supreme Lord, he enjoys. He enjoys the Supreme Lord, his association, rendering devotional service. And in fact, sometimes he enjoys more than the Supreme Lord also. See, that's the, what we say, the crux of our Gaudiya Vaishnava philosophy. Of Lord Chaitanya, the Supreme Lord, when he noticed that his devotee, Srimati Radharani, how she is enjoying, finding happiness in rendering devotional service towards himself, he wanted to taste that happiness. So, Lord Krishna came in the form of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. We find this in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Sri Radhaya Pranaya Mahima Kidrisho Vanayaiva Swadyo Yenadbhuta Madhurima Kidrisho Va Madiyaha. Srimati Radharani, just by looking at the features, how much she is attracted towards Krishna. And Swadyo Yena Adbhuta Madhurima Kidrusho Va Madiyaha. And the love, the happiness, what she is experiencing by rendering loving service to him. Kidrusho Va Madiyaha. Then Saukyam Chasya Madanubhavata Kidrisham Veti Lobhat. Out of lobha, out of hankering, I also should taste that. I also should experience that. So the Supreme Lord, thinking like this, Tadbhavadya Samajani Shachi Garbha Sindau Harinduhu. He came as a son of Mother Shachi to taste this mellow or the happiness of Srimati Radharani. I'll read that, the translation of this verse. Desiring to understand the glory of Radharani's love, the wonderful qualities in him that she alone relishes through her love, and the happiness she feels when she realizes the sweetness of his love, the Supreme Lord, Hari, richly endowed with her emotions, appeared from the womb of Srimati Shachi Devi as the moon appeared from the ocean. So this is what we see. We are hearing about how a poor man in cooperation with a rich man, he enjoys equally. And another example Prabhupada gives how the limbs of the body, when it cooperates with the whole body, especially with the stomach, the hands work hard, the legs take the body around, and different senses, they perform each of their various activities, and finally to provide food to the stomach. Once the stomach is satisfied, full, then naturally all the different limbs of the body are also satisfied. They get the required nourishment, so they are also happy. Another example we hear that of, see, we are hearing about the poor man and a rich man, the master and a servant, but the scriptures say how all we living entities, we are all sons of the Supreme Lord. He is our eternal Father. Pitaham asya jagato aham bija pradah pita. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, he is our Supreme Father. And the Father, when he sees his son is very obedient, submissive to him, then he, is lovingly disposed towards his son. And there may come a point of time wherein the father will hand over the entire key bunch to his son. You take care of the property on my behalf, provided that son is qualified. The son is mature enough to handle it. The father is ready to give the entire property to his son. So, these are all various examples we hear. How much important it is for us to understand our relationship with the Supreme Lord, and then how to reconnect with Him through devotional service. It may be through various different yogas also, because for devotional service, a lot of faith is required. It has to come to the higher level. What if everyone may not be yet ready for that? So they may be taken through various kinds of other yoga systems and help them elevate finally to the stage of love of Godhead. And in that stage, he renders loving devotional service to the Supreme Lord. The Lord is also happy. The living entity, he is also happy. Finally, Prabhupada says in the purport, okay, what if this doesn't happen? What if this cooperation is not there? The living entity is not ready to surrender or to cooperate with the Lord. Prabhupada says, on the other hand, when the living entity wants to enjoy by imitating the Supreme Personality of Godhead, his desire is called Maya, and it puts him in the material atmosphere. So we have all come to this material atmosphere. This material world means we have all rejected the proposal of cooperating, but we wanted to enjoy by imitating the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Then we'll be put into Maya. Krishna bhuliya jiva bhoga vancha kare nikatastha maya tare japati adhare. When a living entity forgets Krishna and bhoga vancha kare, I want to imitate the Lord. I want to enjoy like Him. Why He should be the enjoyer? I want to be the enjoyer. If he wants to, if he tries to, or if the desire of imitating the Supreme Lord comes to him, then immediately nikatastha maya tare chapati adhare. He'll be captured by the Lord's external energy, Maya. The first thing what Maya does, give him one body, one machine, one gross body, one subtle body, and the living entity starts thinking, I am this body, people connected to this body are mine, things connected to this body are mine, I am the owner of this, I should enjoy like this. Different propensities based on the three modes of material nature he develops, and he travels or he endures, he keeps trying for happiness and enjoyment in this material world, which he never gets. The satisfaction, the happiness, what he is expecting, he never gets in the material world, because of his false identification. I am the body. This body is mine. The enjoyment or happiness related to this body is my enjoyment. If till the time he is under this conception, he can never experience true happiness. So, the only way out is he has to become self-realized that I am not this body, I am spirit soul. I am part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. I have got an eternal relationship with the Supreme Lord, but now I have been disconnected with Him. Somehow or the other, I have to re-establish my lost relationship with Him. When he comes to this understanding and takes help of the instructions of the Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam, wherein the Bhakti Yoga, various kinds of yoga processes are given, which helps him to link back with the Supreme Lord. Then he can come out of the clutches of Maya and go back to Godhead. And again Prabhupada says, it is said herein that one can approach the Supreme Personality of Godhead by either the yoga process or the Bhakti Yoga process. This indicates that factually there is no difference between yoga and Bhakti Yoga, because the target of both is Vishnu. So here yoga referring to the Ashtanga Yoga, step-by-step process, or the Bhakti Yoga, there is no factual difference. Why? The reason is both are aiming, or the target or goal of both the yoga systems is to attain Vishnu. So there is no difference. But our Acharyas explain there is a difference. In what sense? Especially in Kali Yuga, the Ashtanga Yoga, Hatha Yoga, other kinds of step-by-step process is not very practical, because people in Kali Yuga, Manda Sumanda Matayo Manda Bhagya Hi Upadritaha, we are all Manda, lazy, unintelligent, misguided and disturbed in mind, unable to control our senses. Keeping all of these things in mind, the various kinds of Ashtanga Yoga and Hatha Yoga processes are very difficult. With simplicity, with sincerity, we surrender to the Supreme Lord, take up to the process of Bhakti Yoga, beginning from Shravanam Kirtanam, chanting and hearing the names, the glory, the pastimes of the Supreme Lord. Very easily we can develop love of Godhead, elevate ourselves to this highest platform. So, yoga means meditation on the form of Lord Vishnu. If the yoga practice is actually performed according to the standard direction, there is no difference between yoga and Bhakti Yoga. So, by taking up to these processes, we can, our daily activities of chanting, hearing, our sadhana, all of these things which form the crux of Bhakti Yoga. If we do these things nicely, as stated here, it will help us become purified, to go back to Godhead. All of these things happen by cooperating with the Supreme Lord. We'll end with this. Grantraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki,